In U.S. politics, boundaries for electoral districts are drawn to give an unfair advantage to one party over its opponent. This gave disproportions between the two parties. This is called gerrymandering. Drawing the districts gives one party the advantage of drawing unwinnable districts for the other candidate, called packing. Or they spread the opponent's voters over many districts, giving them no chance to win any at all. This is called cracking.
Normally, we would expect more seats in Congress to go to the political party that receives more votes, but the last election in 2012 confounded expectations. Democrats received 1.4 million more votes for the House of Representatives, yet Republicans won control of the House by a 234 to 201 margin. One state that helped contribute to the odd outcome was North Carolina. In North Carolina, where the two-party House was voted 51% Democratic, 49% Republican, the average simulated delegation was 7 Democrats and 6 Republicans. The actual outcome? 4 Democrats and 9 Republicans, a split that occurred in less than 1% of simulations. If districts were drawn fairly, this lopsided discrepancy would rarely, if ever, occur.
Governor Jerry used his power to sign a law that reduced state Senate's districts in a way that favored his political party. In 1812, he lost re-election for governor. In the same election, with his redrawn districts, he won the Senate. He won 29 to 11, while he lost the overall votes 50,000 to 51,000. This was due to his strategic placement of certain districts. This made voters and political leaders doubt that the people had an impact on the state legislators and U.S. Congress. The term gerrymandering came from a cartoon in the Boston Gazette that made the congressional district of South Essex County, Massachusetts, look like a salamander.
The positive of gerrymandering is it has a more practical effect of campaign costs for the district elections. Since the districts become so oddly shaped and elongated, the cost of transportation and focusing a campaign in a district may become more expensive, resulting in a higher cost to run for office. It brings more money to the districts, a positive for the people, and it also brings less competition, a positive for the politicians. The negative has a large effect on the people voting for the candidates. Gerrymandering has significant effects on the representation received by voters in gerrymandered districts. It can result in winners being elected by the people drawing the districts instead of the preferences of the voters.
The positives of having a committee draw the lines is that there is no bias towards a political party. The state would be divided into districts based solely on population and existing counties. No county would be split in half or into weird intervals. It makes the elections more competitive, which has a positive effect on the people voting for the candidates. There aren't many negatives when it comes to the people voting. The negatives are more for the parties, because the people running in each party would have to compete more with everyone that is running. It could cause the candidates to worry more about beating the people in their own party than the other party.
The thoughtlessness and prejudice that presents itself in the use of gerrymandering needs to catch the attention of the U.S. public. Even President Barack Obama commented on this issue in his 2016 State of the Union address, saying that we have to end the practice of drawing our congressional districts so that politicians can pick their voters and not the other way around. The state of misconfigured electoral districts counteracts the representative democratic ideals on which our country was built. The simplest plan for reforming gerrymandering is informing the public about gerrymandering. By making it a public issue, reform is likely to follow. Another, more concrete solution is naming and shaming those involved. Publicizing the actual names of the corrupt politicians using this system for their personal gain would give them a negative public light. Hopefully, their morals would overrule and politicians themselves would be encouraged to change their system. A final, more drastic measure would be to introduce the National Popular Vote Plan. This calls for the elimination of electoral districts by simply having the winner of the National Popular Vote become president. This change would, however, require an amendment. Regardless of which method is used to fix this unethical system, it is clear that gerrymandering needs to change.